Hello everyone, welcome to the Marion County Espresso 2024 Fall Sports Preview. I'm your host, Steve Woodhouse. Today I'm joined by varsity volleyball coach for Central College, Jeannie Zebri. Joined now by Pella Christian football head coach, Rich Kakrinsky. Go Eagles! We're back with Amy McGraw, the head coach of Pleasantville varsity volleyball. Now we're joined by Pleasantville head football coach, Mac Jorth. Welcome, Mac.
Thanks for having me.
Football team so far this year.
So far we've had 2 days of camp last week. This is our second practice. One thing that's been really nice, we have a lot of numbers out, even more from last year.
Hello everybody, I'm here with Pella High cross country coach, Doug Cutler. Welcome, Doug. We're sitting here with Joel Allman, the head volleyball coach for Pella Community High School. Joined now by Shelby Miller, the new Twin Cedars volleyball coach. Welcome, Shelby.
Thank you.
Now I'm joined by head coach Jay McKinstry for the Pella Dutch. How are you doing, Jay?
Yeah, some really good underclassmen that have been in the program that are now ready to show their mettle. And
Joined now by Central College head football coach Jeff McMartin. Welcome, Jeff. I'm now joined by Pella Activities Director Matt Fouch. Welcome, Matt.
When an injury puts you on the sidelines, trust your neighbors, your healthcare providers, and your community partner at the Knoxville Hospital and Clinics to get you back in the game. To learn more about the providers, services, and upcoming events at the Knoxville Hospital and Clinics, visit knoxvillehospital.org.
Pella Books is more than happy to sponsor all the sports programs within Marion County.
So we had the privilege of interviewing the coaches for the fall season. They're all very excited. So are you very excited as well?
Yeah, you bet. Anytime you get a new group of students in the building, we got a couple fresh faces with our head coaches, and then a lot of familiar faces as well. So anytime you get that combination together, new school year starts, it's hard not to be excited.
Absolutely. And we talked to one of your new coaches, Joel Allman, head of the volleyball program. Here's what he had to say about the upcoming season. Thanks for having me. So you and I have known each other a long time, background in Pleasantville. Switched over to Pella. How's the switch gone for you so far?
Yeah, it's been a very good summer. First day was June 3rd as far as open gyms go, and we had 52 or 53 girls participating in open gyms, and it continued that way all through June, and then July got really busy for people, so our numbers went down to probably in the 30s. But it's just been a very welcoming community. The girls have been great, very welcoming. They work very hard, and that's all I could ask for.
And so, what are you teaching here along with volleyball?
So I'll be an at-risk teacher for 9th and 10th grade. Yep, and then I'll be doing one section of business. I think marketing is the class I'm going to be doing.
And so, how have the practices gone? I know you've only had the one. We just got that first one done. Still had plenty of girls here. How'd they look?
Yeah, first day of camp, which is always exciting. And, there's still people that are gone just because of vacation or for whatever reason. But we had 55, 60 here, which was great. And like I told them, the first week is always a little bit slower just because you're introducing everything and everything's new, and things will speed up as we go. But I thought the girls did a great job. I'm really excited for our coaching staff. We just have a lot of experience on the coaching staff, and I think it'll be a good year for Pella volleyball.
And of course, I hope that you brought back the best volleyball player, at least statistically, Katie Sheckle. Is she back in the fold this year?
Katie is, yeah, she's definitely back in the fold. Yep, and it's good to have her on the court. Yeah.
And so, who else do you have returning the strong, like your juniors and seniors?
Yeah. So honestly, we bring back a ton from last year's group, and so I think the strength of this team will be the depth. Even the girls. So the girls that are starting and getting major time as far as in the rotations, obviously are going to be very strong players for us. But the girls that aren't able to even make the rotation, they're very good players as well. So it's going to be very competitive in the gym. So I can't just narrow it down to a couple names because I feel like we just return a lot of experience from last year. There was a pretty young group last year that played varsity, and they did a good job. And now there's a lot of experience coming back for this group, and it's really exciting because I think when you have a competitive gym, competitive practices, that makes the matches easier.
So it's a good thing we have plenty of depth here for the Lady Dutch this season. I'll have to edit this out. I don't remember where they finished last year, but how does this year look? How do you think we'll finish in the Little Hawkeye?
Yeah, so last year I think they were third or fourth, but I could be wrong on that. We're trying to fight for a conference championship. Beginning of the season, beginning of the summer, we did some goal sheets and kind of just I wanted to see where the girls' heads were at. And yeah, they want to fight for a conference championship, which will be very difficult because there's a lot of really good teams in the Little Hawkeye. But we're trying to win a conference championship and qualify for the state tournament. I once again, having a competitive gym, when you're competing in practice, it's easy then to compete when it comes to match time.
And through your summer camps, have you seen kind of the culture that the Pella Dutch offer? Was there much difference between that and what Pleasantville had?
No, I think we got at Pleasantville the culture was starting to build, and really I thought we got the last year or two to where I wanted it to be, where one, it was really good people, but two, we were starting to get competitive at Pleasantville. Pella is a very sports-minded town, it seems like, at least from where I was living or currently living in Pleasantville. And so there's a tradition here, and the girls and myself and the coaches and the community, we know the tradition, and we're trying to honor those that came before us by how we play on the court, which is we're going to work hard. We're going to be fun to watch. We're going to be good teammates, and that's our goal. That's our job.
And so I haven't taken a close look at the schedule. I know I'll have it in the Express.
Yep.
But where do things kick off for the Dutch this year?
So we open up on Thursday, I think it's August 29th, at home with a really good quad. We play Mount Vernon, who to me is going to be probably the team to beat 3A.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe 3A number one. Mid Prairie is going to be a 3A state tournament team, I think, and then Bondurant is a 4A. That's always good. And so we got a really tough test right away with a home quad, but that's going to give us a good picture of just kind of where we're at to start the season. And then we have a tournament at Bondurant on that Saturday, which will be a really good competition there. And once again, it's going to be a good barometer of just where we're at. But ultimately, our goal is to be playing our best volleyball when we get to regional time and state tournament time.
And so, as far as like the way that you structure things and stuff, are you going to change much compared to the past couple coaches?
So I think things will be pretty similar from last year to this year. Coach Sheldon and I have had a number of conversations just because there have been 3 coaches in 3 years, and so that makes it tough on the girls to have new systems.
It does.
And the reason that I reached out to Coach Sheldon is just to kind of get a feel of what she was doing, and then obviously I have my own philosophy of doing things, and so we were pretty aligned on a lot of the things that we're actually teaching and preaching, and so I don't think there will be too much change system-wise for the girls, and that'll be a good thing because when they can stop thinking about what they're supposed to be doing, where they're supposed to be, and they can actually just start playing volleyball without thinking, that's when you start to get some good performances.
Absolutely. And what are the key home dates other than the opening one that you mentioned? Do you have any other key home dates that we should keep on our calendars for coming and checking out the Dutch?
Oh, that's a great question. And without the schedule in front of me, I know our home tournament is October 12th, Saturday, October 12th is our home tournament. And then we would have 3 home Little Hawkeye matches. And I cannot think of those off the top of my head as far as which 3 are home. But we have 5 total matches at home this year, with a quad being the first one.
So still plenty of opportunities to come out and see how
you bet. We want a great crowd, a lot of noise, but and the girls and I will talk about this at some point. If you want people to come support you in the gym, have an exciting brand of volleyball. If you have an exciting brand of volleyball, people will come. So that's our goal is just to play in a way that people love watching.
Absolutely. Is there anything more you want to add about the season as we get ready? I mean, we're going to talk more as the season goes on, but
no, just very excited for Pella volleyball this year, and we hope that everybody comes and supports us. And thank you for supporting us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, Joey.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. I'm joined now by Central College head football coach Jeff McMartin. Welcome, Jeff.
Hi, thanks.
So it's good chatting with you again.
Yeah.
So another big season coming up,
Yeah.
and you got the alumni game coming up this Saturday. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's a tradition that got started during Ron Skipper's era, and bringing alums back and having them play scrimmage the team. I remember that, from when I was a player and to through Coach Cack, and then even through myself, we've done it. The last time we were scheduled to do it was during COVID. We tried to go about every 3 years. We had it planned for the COVID year, didn't play that year then, and then tried to work it in the schedule the last 4 years, and with our spring games that 1 year and some other things happening, just getting people kind of corralled. It hasn't played out, but we have over 60 alums signed up this year, and I mean some years we've had over 80. So it's a good group. We have all of our positions covered, and they're going to scrimmage our football team. So it'll be fun.
And so since you're all Dutch, you're going to play fairly. There's no need for officials or anything like that.
Oh no, the officials will be there. It'll be. We've already had one scrimmage, and this will be a good opportunity for us to kind of get a second one in before our first game.
Mm-hmm. And of course, did you tell your players, hey, these guys are old, take it easy?
Well, I think they know that, but these guys play really hard, our alums, and a lot of them they start training well in advance, and they have a lot of pride in their performance, and so it's always been very competitive, very hard hitting. It's been a fun thing, though. It's been a good thing.
I'm looking forward to checking that out as I am the rest of the season.
Sure.
So, how are you looking this season compared to the conference? I didn't see where you were ranked in the preseason poll, but
yeah, I think that we have a lot of good people coming back, and it'll be a great challenge for us. We start off the year against Wartburg, and I think they're ranked 4th in the nation. So, a big test for us in the conference, and that'll be a kind of figure out where we're at right now. We start off our first game of the season against Illinois Wesleyan here in Pella. And we played them last year, and it was a good game. I coached there for 2 years back in the 90s, and know their head coach really well, and they'll be really well prepared. They're the type of team that, they're well coached, and they were a young team last year, and they have a lot of experience back. So they'll have a lot of starters returning. They'll have a very good team. Coach Ash will have them ready to go. And a few years ago they beat Whitewater, and so they are a team that. We will have to play our best to have success against.
And I know you guys are off to California for a game. How'd that come to pass?
The next week we go to California. We play California Lutheran, and we wanted to do something different for our players. Just give them a new opportunity to try and play on the road in a place that they've never been before, that we've never been before as a team, against a like opponent. And Cal Lutheran's a good team, well coached, and they play in a really good conference. California, they're always one of the top teams in that league. They're out of Thousand Oaks, California, and we always had a lot of respect for them, and it's a good chance for us to get out there and play. And I think our players are excited about the opportunity to travel out there.
And as far as as we get deeper into the season, how's your depth looking this year?
I think that we have a lot of depth. Most college teams would probably say this: you have a ton of it, you don't have any of it, And I think for us, we probably have, I think, good solid depth at almost every position. There's maybe a couple of positions we certainly don't want to have an injury anywhere, but certainly a couple spots we can't lose a guy. But overall, I think our depth is solid.
And so, are there any special dates or anything we should look out for this season that we should put on the calendar now?
Well, the first 2 games, home and away, I think will be a lot of fun. Our week 1 opener in the conference against Wartburg will be a big game. Then homecoming is always a really cool event for our team. It's hard to know, with the transfer portal and just how everything is. Anybody can get good really quickly.
Yeah.
And so we feel like we have to be ready to play every week, and it should be some great challenges for us. And as we go down the road, we'll play a lot of really good teams, and it'll be fun.
Absolutely, and of course, if you can't be here live at Ron and Joyce Skipper Stadium, you can catch everything on Central Dutch Live, right?
Right. Yep. It's a good time it's a good place to watch a game, and yeah, we'd love to have you here, and we really value the community that we have at Skipper Stadium. A lot of local people and alums and just kind of fans, parents, you name it, from all over the place come. And I think it's a really fun atmosphere to watch a college football game in. And
it sure is. Yeah.
We enjoy it, and we enjoy having our fans. But if for some reason they can't make it, then you guys are the next best thing.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we look forward to catching up with you throughout the season.
Yeah.
Any more shout-outs or anything you want to be sure to mention?
No, I think that we have a new staff in a lot of areas. We have 2 new coordinators, both on offense and defense, and so there'll be some new wrinkles. We're going to look a little bit differently, but not wholesale differently, but a little bit differently. And I think that can be a good thing. I think it'll play to the strengths of our players. I think that we will be an exciting offense, and I think that we'll look very differently and be very pressure oriented on defense. And I think that those things can be, really fun and good opportunities for our fans to watch Central football play.
Absolutely. There's not much better than college football, I tell you what.
When you start watching those games on TV and looking at schedules and things, you can kind of see why people love it. Just in this past weekend alone, there were some really close. There weren't too many games on, but the games that were on were really close and exciting, and that's what people love. And then you connect it to an institution and education that a lot of those fans have gone to or that they've rooted for a long time. And I think that's what makes college football special, And
of course, it's extra special here at Central. We were just talking before we started rolling about the Hampshire Honor Society. Central College is leading the entire state among all divisions for that honor.
Yeah, the Hampshire Honor Society is an award that's given to athletes who start for their football team and have a 3.2 GPA or better. And we have more students that have won that award since 2008 when they started giving it out than any other school in the state of Iowa. So we really feel that we want our men to develop in all areas of their life, not just as football players, but most importantly as men, and then as students, and then obviously as football players. So having seen them develop and grow and succeed academically is one of our major goals.
Absolutely, and nobody does it better than here at Central College, in my opinion.
We work at it.
Absolutely.
We work at it.
Well, thanks again, sir. I appreciate your time.
And
go Dutch.
Great having me. Thanks.
Yeah.
Go Dutch.
Pella Books is more than happy to sponsor all the sports programs within Marion County.
So Matt, we're proud of all of our teams here at Pella, even when they don't bring home championships. But last year we had a huge season for cross country for both teams. What are your thoughts on cross country?
Yeah, cross country is it's a powerhouse in the state of Iowa here in Pella High School. Just with the cultural foundation that Coach Cutler has laid for this program. Every year you come in as excited as the year before, even if you're not chasing championships, which I know Coach Cutler never does. We're just excited to see what product he's going to put out there and how much these kids are going to grow throughout the season.
Right, we had the privilege of talking to Coach Cutler, and he's obviously very excited for the season. A lot of talent on that team. Here's more with Coach Cutler. So you had a pretty successful 2023. I'd say, the girls won the state championship, the boys came in second. Can you just kind of walk us through last year and how you guys got to that point?
Yeah, we had about just under 80 kids on the team last year. Our theme for the year last year, golly, it's funny how fast things go by so fast.
Right.
It becomes memory as we kind of change our theme every year. Pace. Goodness gracious. Okay,
yeah.
So anyway, we had 80 kids on the team, and our theme for the year was pace, pursuing a championship environment. We really kind of started off with that idea of building unity, building a team, building a synergy that would propel us forward, and we felt the need was to create that environment of chasing a championship, not just in the race, but in the relationships that we were forming, in the trust for one another and things like that. So, we kind of started with that foundation, continued to build. Obviously, we've got kids that will work very, very hard. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I have athletes that are just so coachable, but they also take ownership of their own hard work, and we give them a lot of input in what they feel like they can accomplish and what they can do. So we try to take all the information we possibly can to make the season as successful as possible. And obviously it kind of concluded there with the guys winning the conference title, a district title, and coming in second at state. Kind of interestingly, reversing the other way, the girls were second at conference to an outstanding Dallas Center Grimes team. We won the district title and then the state title for the second time, as Dallas Center Grimes is 4A, so we didn't have to race them at state, obviously. So, but it was a tremendous season. Marissa Farabee obviously winning the individual title. Autumn Blink just missing the podium in terms of being all state, but all the girls contributing to that state title in an enormous way. The guys, Kanan obviously winning the individual title. Nathan Vanderwall was third. Devin Brown was 11th. I remember if it was 9th or 11th, but he was right. He was on the podium as well. So 3 guys on the podium, something we had never done before, and yet Gilbert was just a little bit better. It was a tremendous race, a race I'll never forget in terms of the head-to-head battle between ourselves and Gilbert. It was a fantastic drama. From my perspective, would have loved to have come up on top, but we ran our best race of the year at the state course. We left with our heads held high, shook Gilbert's hand and said congratulations, and then for the last 11 months I've been getting back to work to see what we can do this year.
And is your starting 7 returning this year? Did you lose anybody?
On the boys' side, we, as far as who ran at state, Nathan Vanderwall and Stephen Gall have graduated. On the girls' side, Autumn Blink and Reagan Schrader have graduated. We had a lot of other seniors contributing in many ways, but those are the folks that we've have to kind of find new faces for in terms of actually running at the varsity level. But we've got plenty of we have a real deep talent. We've got a deep field of kids who've been working hard. I think there are going to be a few surprises of names people aren't going to recognize immediately, but they've grown, they've developed, they've put in the work, dedicated themselves to the craft, and have learned a lot. And so we're going to see some young athletes, young students this year show tremendous improvement and contribute. Whether they end up running on the varsity level or not, they'll be running varsity times and pushing ourselves to whatever high tide we can reach.
And I know these kids, they work hard all summer and all through the year. It doesn't just start in the fall. Have you been able to see how they're doing? Have you seen improvement from anybody lately?
Summer months particularly, I try to be as hands-off as possible. Mm-hmm. The kids really know. They understand kind of our general training plan. We try to teach them the science behind training. Rest days are important. Hard days are important. Changing what those hard days look like, depending on what we're trying to develop, whether it's speed endurance, whether it's lactate threshold, whether it's VO2 max, whatever those things, all these different terms that we runners and coaches throw around. They have a real good handle on those things. And so by the time they're seniors in particular, I really am proud of how the seniors take charge, and they really kind of lead everything in the summer. Our largest group has gotten together pretty much all summer at 6:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday, and then they sleep in a whole extra half hour on Saturdays till 7 o'clock. But I meet them, I give them high fives, I say, hey, I'm at the track, or I'm going to be here, so if you need anything, this is where I'm at. But from there, they go about the business of getting better, developing their relationships, developing their stamina and speed and strength. And we have some strength and conditioning, what we call strength and injury prevention sessions twice a week in the evenings that kids can choose to be part of. But something that's really important to our program is that everything they do in the summer months and the off season is totally optional. It is up to them. It's important to me that every kid knows that if they don't train 1 minute or 1 mile the whole summer, they're still fully included when we get started. There's obviously an advantage to preparing for the season, and those who have put in the work are going to probably see a greater peak in their performance, but it's nothing that we do in the off season is required by any means. But certainly the success that we have is a result of those who've chosen that they enjoy this enough and they enjoy each other enough to dedicate the time and effort to becoming their very best.
So as far as numbers, I know you're going to reload and have talent all down the line, but do you know how many kids you're going to have this year?
Should be about the same. We graduated a very large senior class, one of our larger classes last year. Fortunately, we're replacing them with probably one of our biggest freshman classes we've ever had, particularly on the girls' side. So where we've been slightly askew, 45-35 boys, girls, this year I think we're going to be right about even because this freshman girls class is so large. We should be right around 80 students again participating. Be about 40. I think it's going to be a pretty even split, 40-40 60-40 between the two genders. So yeah, excited for new faces. We have quite a few new faces of people who haven't done it before. A few juniors and seniors who have decided to give it a try. They've heard good things. I always encourage kids who haven't run cross country to get it's something you can just pick up. There's no, running is something you can just start doing. And so I really seek out particularly kids I know that are just, I hear good things about them in the classroom. I hear good things about them from other teachers, because the higher character our team has, again, it just sets a foundation for which all the hard work can be built on. I truly believe that you build great teams with great people. You don't always have to just have tremendous talent. Talent helps. I'm not going to try to push that aside, but the experience that all the kids have, it's important to have that foundation of people that believe in what you're trying to do.
And so where does your season kick off this year? When does it kick off?
Yeah, everything's kind of rolled back 1 week. We're not starting practice till August 12th officially, so next week. Our first meet will be at Cedar Rapids Prairie, which is September 1st. It's the Saturday of Labor Day. Our first meet will be the Saturday of Labor Day at Cedar Rapids Prairie, which that's usually been our home meet at Central College. Our meet will be the next week now, September 7th. So yeah, our first two meets are Saturday morning meets. Again, early, trying to beat the heat early in the season during this hottest part, so we try to run in the mornings for our races. But after that, we'll have a couple of great battles. Our home meet will be a great one. Then this year, we're not going to the Ballard Invitational. We've gone there for years, and that's been a fantastic meet for us. But this year, we're going to go to Gilbert, which is actually run on the Iowa State course. Very fast course, great competition. Clearly, we had a great team battle with both the boys and girls from Gilbert last year, and we're wanting to feed that a little bit, and so we're going to see them a couple times early in the season, so it'll be a good barometer to know where we are and where we need to go.
And is Pella hosting the state qualifying meet again this year?
Don't know that yet. We always put in for the opportunity. We enjoy hosting that meet. We feel like we do a very good job, quality job of holding that meet for other teams, and it's been a good experience in the past, so we're putting in for that, but we won't know if we're actually hosting probably for 3 or 4 more weeks.
Okay. Anybody else we should keep our eye on? I mean, you mentioned Marissa and Kanan and everybody that did so well last year, but is there anybody else that you really got your eye on for this year?
Our girls team this year is going to be extraordinary, I think. Between Marissa, Ruth Dunham, Elsie Brenneman, Reagan Schneider, I'm forgetting somebody horrible right now. Can I start over there?
Yeah.
As we mentioned, Marissa Farabee, Ruth Dunham's going to have a fantastic season. Elsie Brenneman, Reagan Schneider. We've got a couple freshmen coming in that, again, I don't like putting their names out there immediately because I want them to kind of feel their way and kind of get acclimated, but we've got some freshmen that could contribute very quickly. Really proud of some seniors this year. Mara Skibout and Chloe Punt have done a really nice job this summer preparing for their senior year and teaching all the other girls everything that they know and what they've learned through their years. So I think they could make big jumps in what they can do. So there's going to be a lot of competition. Lizzie Newman and Camry Trine are two other names that people know were contributing to our varsity team last year. We're right there all the time. Lizzie's been part of both championship teams that we've had the last 2 years. On the guys' side, again, obviously we returned quite a bit of them with Kanan Dunham, Noah Shutnick, Mason Galkey, the Brown twins, both Devin and Caden. Caden had a nice, he's battled some struggles over the last couple of years, which is normal for high school runners, and so he and Devin have kind of both taken turns at kind of being the person that people. So yeah, on the boys' side, again, returning again, obviously Caden we've talked about, but Mason Galkey, Noah Shutnick, Devin and Caden Brown are going to be names that people are going to see immediately. Aaron Harold Hellbush is a senior this year, and he's been one of the most voice-led people this summer. I think he's really taken everybody under their wing and tried to carry on what he sees as being Pella traditions and how we kind of do things. So really proud of his leadership this summer and what he's going to do as a senior. And then there's a whole slew of other names that, again, if I were to start mentioning one, I feel like I need to mention them all. So I'd be excited to see who develops and who gets those spots. But the important thing, I think everyone's getting better. Everyone's feeling like we make such a note of we want everyone to feel like they're contributing to the success of the team. So yeah, that's where we are and where I think we can go.
All right. Is there anything more you'd like to add about the upcoming season? I mean, I hope we get a chance to talk more, during the season. But
I don't know. No, this is going to be a special season. Obviously, we've got a lot of talent. I think we're going to accomplish some great things. I think the relationships on the team are deepening, and I think there's some lifelong friendships that are developing. Something unique, I guess, for Lady Hammond and I is this is our 20th year. So this is the end of 2 decades since we arrived at Pella. So our fall of 2005 was our first year together, kind of starting what we would consider our program here. And so 20 years, it seems kind of special. So this is the only thing I'd mention.
All right. Well, thank you, Doug.
Yeah.
Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
So, Pella football. We have a strong tradition for football here in Pella, and our last couple of seasons, even we're very good, we're still kind of off from what we're used to, what we became accustomed to. And some of that, obviously a lot of that is attributed to our great athletes, but you have to give credit to Coach McKinstry. Do you have any thoughts about Coach McKinstry?
Yeah, Coach McKinstry, this year's bittersweet, obviously. I'm so excited for the senior class to be the last class that they get one more chance to learn from Coach McKinstry and his values and what he brings to young men in this program. And I'm sad for the classes behind them that don't get to experience that. But this season is going to be just as exciting as any other season. Coach McKinstry has a foundation of success and just leadership that a lot of programs never get to see in their career. So we're excited to see how this year unfolds for them.
So how has your preparation gone? We're still meeting fairly early in the preseason.
As a whole, it's been a really good summer for our kids. Got good turnouts for our summer workouts. I think the kids are excited about the coming season. I think they're ready to get back into football and get back into the swing of things. And it's always an exciting time of year. I think when you get ready for high school football and college football, and it's just I think a lot of people get excited for the fall season.
Well, it's easy to get excited for football.
Yeah.
All sports are awesome, and I don't mean to, but football, clearly, that's everybody's.
It just seems like a fresh start in the fall. School's getting started, and it's just a kickoff to the whole school year and to the fall. And I think people look forward to the fall. Hopefully the weather changes for the cooler and the beautiful weather and the October days, and I think it's just an exciting time of year. Yeah.
So you guys are open at home this year?
Actually, we're on the road to Ballard this year.
Ballard.
We open at Ballard. We do scrimmage PCM on August 23, and we'll scrimmage them at Central College because our stadium is being worked on. So, but yeah, then on August 30 we head to Ballard and open up there this year.
And all your home games will be played at Central this year. I've been pushing that out.
Correct. Right now, that's the plan. I think that would depend upon the stadium itself here. If they've talked about hopefully trying to get the last game here, but I know that's up in the air, and that's there's a lot of work to be done yet. But yeah, so right now, we're all our home games are at Central on Friday nights at 7:00.
And you have the brand new turf over there that they just put in. Have you guys tested that at all yet?
I haven't been on there yet, but we had a few people are down there at the FCA camp, said it's really nice, and they feel like it feels really good, and it's nice and soft, and so it'll be kind of neat. That's a neat thing for Central College, and it'll be neat for us to get a chance to play on that new turf also.
And so I know you lost some key seniors last year. I'm going to name specifically Luke Hardman, who was a heart of your offense and defense last year. He was your punter too, wasn't he?
Punter and kicker, yes.
Yeah. So obviously he's hard to replace, but you have guys stepping up into those roles.
Yeah, Luke did a great job for us last year, and he really played at a high level. And interestingly, he had a great Shrine game this year too. He played threw 3 touchdown passes, played very well in that game. It was fun watching him play, and he did a really nice job punting. He's a really good kicker. I think he's a tremendously good kicker. That has a lot of potential there. And so we'll kind of miss him there, and that spot on the kicking spot, really a lot. But we hope we got some guys stepping up. I think Colin is going to be a tremendously athletic, very, very good quarterback. He just never had an opportunity yet, and I've talked to him about that. And I think he's going to be really, really good. I think people are like, wow, this kid is very, very talented. And we're excited about watching him play. We hope we can keep him healthy, but I think he's going to do some really good things Friday nights for us on our football team.
Of course, you have a strong tradition of having great quarterbacks. All the many years I've been covering Dutch football. What's your key to success with that?
Well, I just think you just try and find the right person for that spot. If you'll hear it being said, football's a quarterback-driven game, and I don't think they hear that more recently. That's probably been true for a long, long time, and we just didn't notice it as much as now when you got the quarterback more in shotgun and you're utilizing them more. But it's still probably been, your quarterback's going to take you to certain places that maybe it's going to matter. So, but I think we just look for trying to get the right athlete there, the right player, and a kid that can do lots of different things and can make plays. They need to be playmakers, and they need to be just need to be a really good football player. And I think we've been fortunate to have a lot of guys here that have been able to fulfill that role, and we appreciate them and grateful we've had a lot of kids that could do what they did, playing quarterback.
Who is Cullen going to be throwing to this year? Who's your big receiving core?
Well, I think we got quite a depth of receivers. We got Tyson Barnes is back, and Bailey Shetterly and Blake Comlin are the 3 seniors back, and Harrison Mullins is a junior to be. He saw some time last year. I think that kid's really coming along, and he's looking really good. And we've got some other young kids that I think are coming up that can do a really nice job for us, and I think we're going to have some depth there as long as we can stay healthy. But I can name a few more kids, and I think I'm going to be pretty good there too. But it's so early yet, we're just going to wait, and I'm afraid I'd forget somebody too. But at the same time, I just think I think we're going to be able to put the ball in the air as long as we have time, and like what Coach Evans is doing with some of the schematics we're doing, and I think we're going to hopefully be able to threaten people there. We can even put Emmanuel out there as a running back, but he played receiver last year or something too. You split him out there, and you get him the ball in space, he can do some really, really special things. And so I think that I think we're going to have some weapons out there kids that can make plays.
And looking on the opposite side of the ball, and it's still really early, but do you think you'll be strong up front?
That's again, we lost a lot of guys up front. That's on both sides of the ball. We lost our whole offensive line and our tight ends, and we basically lost our D line to some degree. Ben's back at Sam linebacker in a little bit. He'll play a little bit. Sam play a little bit at D tackle, I think. But we got a lot of replacement to do there. We just do. So we need some kids to develop and step up, and we just got to move a few kids around and to hopefully show up some few spots. But that's certainly going to be a key component to our team this year. Both sides of the football on the lines up front. So if we get that developed, hopefully, we feel like we can do some good things.
And you've got the road trip this year to Xavier, and there's a lot of, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't always remember the schedule, but I know that you take it week by week, but I'm sure you guys are thinking about that one ahead, planning ahead for it.
Yeah, it's actually, really, we're really focused, believe it or not, we are really focused on Ballard. It's been 4 years since we won the first game, and that's important. We really were aiming for that last year, and we were ahead in the fourth quarter and got beat, and that's a tough one. And the reality is our first 4 games are very challenging, not district schedule, and you kind of get the hard part is you get kind of beat up, and then you go to play Carlisle, our first district game, and I just really like that. It was easier in the day when these non-district games did not count against us. But you got to view them a little bit to prepare us for a district. And that's, it's not so much, we want to win the games, don't get that wrong. We certainly want to win those games, play the best we can play, and we get after it. But I really want to prepare for a district because we really want to try to enter our district, And, the neat part is last year we were 2-2, but we went on and we're 4-1 in the district. We tied we were co-champions or tri-champions in the district. And if the tiebreaker was the way it was, if it was the way it was last year, the way it's going to be this year, we'd have been district champs. And so that was a neat thing. So we were really striving hard for that. We were wanting to do that. So Xavier's going to be a good team, but they'll come when they come. It's like we haven't beat Indianola for 3 years either. We've never played them. So there's a lot of games before that we just want to play well, get better, and then when they come, and use it to prepare us for our district, and then hopefully we can do well.
And the district, of course, is stacked. Are they going to be just as strong as they were last year, or do you know if the other teams have lost seniors?
Well, Carlisle, I think will be they had a challenging year last year. I think they're going to be better. I think it'll be a lot better this year. They're always good. They're still a challenging football team last year. They just had a couple things go bad early against them, and in a few of the games they played, and they had opportunities. It's just they just couldn't quite get over that edge. And then Newton, they beat us 2 years in a row, and Newton's really coming on. They've got a really good football program, a good team. They're doing some great things there, and that'll be a big challenge. And then, you sit there and Des Moines Hoover, I'm sure, struggled a little bit, but at the same time, I'm sure they'll want to be better. And then you go to Bondurant, semifinals team last year. Really, you give them Titus and Falsgraf, they might have been state champs. ADM lost their 2 top players. I think them 2 might have been the best 2 teams, and they lost their 2 top players, and neither one of them could quite finish it. But Bondurant's just. I said this back in 2016. Bondurant, North Boca, look out for those 2 teams, and look what's come to fruition.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable. I mean, not just in football. Look at all their sports. It's like incredible. They're just growing. They're doing really well. So Bondurant's going to rebuild. I mean, they're going to just be loaded up, and they got the quarterback back, and he's a nice player. And then you go to Gilbert. Of all years, Gilbert had been not very good, but they got some players right now. They got them all back from last year, basically. And they had a really nice team last year. So it's like, yeah, basically every team in our district is a playoff team, with the exception of maybe Des Moines Hoover. Obviously, they weren't very good. That's not the truth for them. But I'm sure they want to try and be better. But other than that, they're all playoff teams. So it's like, whoa, Carlisle was the semifinal team 2 years ago. So I mean, it's loaded. It's week in and week out. It's different. It's very, very, very difficult. And you got to stay healthy, and you just got to play well each week.
And so how are you guys getting ready for that? You think, how do you plan to prepare the guys for that?
Well, I guess, you have to physically be ready, first of all. I mean, that's the work they put in the off season, starting back in January and February and March, April, May, and then summer workouts. You have to be physically ready because your body's going to take a toll on your body. And so, I think, they do that work. And then just, you have to mentally get it ready. That week in and week out, you have to be prepared, you have to work hard, and you got to be, be at your best. I was thinking of the old days. I think everybody, and Notre Dame had to be ready to play everybody because I think everybody loved playing Notre Dame in the old days. It's like that. So you had to be at your best every week, and I think that's kind of what we're going to have to be too. You have to be at your best every week.
And so, I know this is your final season as head coach. Has that mindset really hit you this year, or are you just saying it's another season?
Well, I've been just trying to make it another season it's about these seniors and about our program. It's about the players in our program, the seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, and this one's to be about them.
Yeah.
I guess it needs to be about them, and I do reflect and say how grateful and thankful I am over all the time we've been, opportunities I've had here, the people I got involved with, but sure. So there's certainly some reflection now and then about that, but I do want to do what we can to make everything we can do like a normal year for these kids, and make it like every other year we've done. Work hard for them and get after it and keep that focus on them. And so we're excited about that. I'm excited about that. And we're just trying to do that as far as I think the kids are that way too. I think that's good.
Absolutely, it's all about the student athletes.
It is. It's about the players and the program and just everyone else involved. And so hopefully we can do just an enjoyable year. Hope we can, just make it a good year for the kids.
And I never noticed this before, but you have the banners with all your playoff appearances up here in the clubhouse. Do the guys ever just look up there and think, "Wow, that's a lot to live up to," or freshmen?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I would assume they do. I kind of look up and go like, "Wow, how grateful and thankful I am."
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure they look up and go like, "Wow, we got one to put up from last year yet. I can put that in my classroom, and we'll get that put up here in a short period of time before the season starts." And we got the pictures of the state championship teams, the runner-up teams on the back wall, and it's like, yeah, it's just pretty neat, and hopefully can be part of that. And there's something it's not our goal. It is our goal to be there again. It's not our purpose for being here, but it is part of our goals, and we certainly want to. I hope that the kids look at it and go like, "Wow, that's cool. I'm going to be part of this," and hopefully we can have a chance to do this ourselves someday.
Exactly, it's part of being a part of the legacy. Is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I hope so. Hope they are, and it's like that's what I hope that I think about that. I do think about that being my last year here, and as far as I think about for anyone, for you, you have your little short time frame here.
Yeah.
And so, what difference are you going to make? What are you going to leave behind? And hopefully, you can leave some type of legacy or something. You've made a difference, or you've done something For all of us, no matter what career you're in or whatever you're in, whether it be as a dad or as a husband or as a whatever you're doing, what are you going to leave behind? Because the reality is, I think about it. Do I know my great grandfather? No, I probably don't even. I'm not sure I know their names. I can go back a few, but not all the way back. So, same's true here. 3 years from now, they're not going to know who I am. You come here, they're not going to know I was in the building as a teacher. The kids won't know me. They won't know me here. And it's like, so what did you do when you're here? And that's what I try and do to the kids. Enjoy it while you're here as a player, because a few years from now, no one's going to look like, oh yeah, like you all move on and do other things. And so it's like, you're right. So what are you going to do with your little, you've heard it before, the little dash in between, when you're born and when you die, what are you going to do with your dash? And that's really true. It's really kind of that's why we're kind of looking at here. But there's a reality to that too. And you're going, oh, well, no, it's what it is. So I just want to try and make the most of while you're here. And that's why I ask for our kids to make the most while you're here, enjoy the moment, and just appreciate what you're able to do now.
And of course, you and I have talked many times before about one of the goals of football and sports in general is just to build character and build quality young men through this activity.
I hope so. That's what I've been exposed to my whole life, and the coaches that I got to play for, and a few, most of them I got to coach with. My father, I played for him in college. I'm in high school. He was my high school football coach. He was a good man, and that's what he taught. And Larry Corver at Northwestern College, and Ed Thomas, and I got to play for him in the Shrine game, and stayed in contact with him, and Coach Ron Skipper and Coach Jerry State. You name those 5 guys, it's like, well, that's all they taught all about life, and they all taught about, building young men up. And it's like, I thought that, that's just, to me, that's what you have to do, and I want to honor them in that, because that's who they were, and I want to honor them and do the same thing that they did, and do it in my own unique way, I hope. And with the help of our coaching staff and with the parents and the community and the school, I appreciate everybody involved in that. And I just hope I hope that we can do that, and hope that's been good for like 27 years, and we can do it for one more 28, and we can get these kids to do some great things in life.
Absolutely. What do you plan to do in retirement, or have you given that much thought?
That's a great question. I don't have any plans right now, but my plan is to do is I've prayed a lot about it over many years here now, and I just feel this is the time, and I feel great. I feel God has led me to this, and I'll just continue to seek Him and ask Him what He has for me ahead. I've been praying for it sometime when I am done to have a little rest first, and then see what doors open up for it. God will open up the doors for me, and to follow Him and try to be obedient and faithful to Him and the doors that He opens, and hopefully have enough courage to walk through them. And so we'll see. I haven't really thought about it much like that. I just want to try and enjoy this year and enjoy my family. And like I said, we'll pray about it and see what doors open up.
That seems like a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So, well, I look forward. It's been great working with you all these years, Jay. I look forward to this final season.
Working with you. Best wishes in the future. I'm sure we'll talk again through the season. I don't want to sound like you're dying or anything.
Yeah.
But it's just always been great working with you, and I look forward to the season. Is there anything more you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to you too. We look forward to this season for the kids, working with you too. We appreciate just covering Pella football.
Absolutely.
And giving our kids some kudos, some attention, and trying to make it. Like I said, I want to be careful because we live in a more world. Everything's got to be more and more and more and more. It's like, goodness gracious, we got to be careful what we're doing. But I do want to try and make it. I'm excited about our parents do such a great job at trying to make these kids feel special and make a big time where we're at. The time here, Frosty Western would say that down at Pack Lutheran, and I know Coach Staten would do that too. Try and make it the big time where you're at. Try and make it a neat experience for these kids. Because when they really walk away from it, if you go back 5 years from now or 10 years from now, and you keep going down the road, they really look back maybe some of the relationships and the experience they had. And that's what's going to be really important to them. So thank you for everything too, for doing that. So to try and help make it the big time where we're at too. So thank you, Steve.
Absolutely, you're welcome. So thanks again, Jay.
You're welcome.
Fairhaven West is proud to support Marion County's athletes. Are you or a loved one 62 years and older, looking to downsize but still have your privacy? Then head on over to Fairhaven West and get your apartment today. Pets are allowed, and rent is based on 30% of your income.
Welcome back, everyone, to our Marion County Express Fall Sports Preview. I'm here with Knoxville head volleyball coach Molly Keiches. Welcome, Molly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, we all remember how last season ended, and we don't really want to think about the ending. But let's talk about everything that led up to it. You guys made it all the way to North Scott, and I'm not going to blame the officials, but They did kind of put in a long delay there that kind of cooled the players down, for those of you that weren't there. But how are we looking past that, and do you think we can repeat that again?
Yeah, we had a great year last year, from start to finish, and we ran into that North Scott team who ended up being the state champions, and I think we scored more points on them than 2 of the 3 teams at the state tournament.
Yeah.
So, looking back in retrospect, we still feel really good about that. But overall, it was a really good season. And I think we've got some big shoes to fill for some kids that we're missing, that we lost to graduation, but we've got big expectations, and the kids are working really hard. So we're excited about this season as well.
And of course, one of those big holes is Brittany Bakhorn, who's now in Texas. I forget the name of the university, but it's Division I. And of course, Brittany basically rewrote the record book for volleyball here in Knoxville.
Right.
I don't imagine you have somebody that big and powerful again, but who's looking to step up?
No, and Brittany's at Tulsa. She has her first game in a couple weeks, so we're excited about that and excited for her. And Ella Brazil started at a D2 school, Belmont Abbey. She had her first practices just a couple days ago. So, definitely big shoes to fill. We are going to have to mix it up a little bit more this year, but we'll look at Hannah Duncan being a big, take a big part of the load for us. Rylan McCarty and Peyton Horn. So those are our 3 seniors, Hannah, Rylan, and Peyton. So all 3 of them are just really going to have to step up and really take, a lot more of the workload for us. And then we've got, 3 juniors, 3 sophomores, and a freshman added to the mix. And, everybody's just going to have to step up and do their role, and we're just going to have to play really clean, smart volleyball. And, I think we're going to have a team that's going to surprise a lot of people. I think a lot of people are going to think, oh, wow, they graduated, some big guns, and, they'll be down this year. And I really think we're not going to be down. We just might look a little different.
See, that's what I figured. You just look a little different and reload. I think is the term.
Exactly. Yes.
And so we're just coming off practice. Are you happy with what you're seeing so far from everybody?
Yeah, from top to bottom. So freshmen through seniors, we have like 35 girls on the team in the gym. We made so much progress last week, so much progress, and even we just did a drill with varsity that we ended the week with last week, and it looked, I think I told them 787 times better tonight than it did last week. So we are making progress, and that's what we got to do. Is we just got to improve every time we step on the court, and really like where we're at. I'm excited about a scrimmage tomorrow with Pella. And there'll be officials at that scrimmage. So to really see, what we really need to work on before next Monday when we get going for real.
And we're all looking forward to that scrimmage because I know that no matter what, we're going to see improved play from both sides of the court. Yeah. And, that's kind of my bag is both sides of the court.
Right.
But obviously we want to definitely see improvement for Knoxville as you roll into the South Central Conference. And I imagine Eddyville's just going to reload again as well.
Yeah, we saw them a couple times this summer. And the Schaefer twins are just really good. They're just really good. So, that'll be a tough game. We definitely kind of have our eyes on for sure. But we got a lot to work on between now and then. We open up on Monday the 26th with Carlisle, Oski, and Atelma. And, Atelma in one poll is top 10 in 5A. Carlisle is a top 5 in 4A. And, Oski's got a lot of weapons as well. So I'm super excited about that. And that's going to be a huge, huge tool to help us prep and prepare for Eddyville and the Schaefer twins for sure.
Is that going to be here in Knoxville or where will that be?
No, that one's in Atelma this year. It'll be back in Knoxville in 2 years, so in 26. Yeah.
And so when do we open here at home? When can the Panther fans
we open here at home with Eddyville, so September 17th. Volleyball, you only get 14 dates per the girls' union. So we've got 8 conference teams, including us. So 7 of those dates we use on conference games. So, I really want to get us into the 30s of matches played. So we got to use those other 7 dates for the tournament type format. Situation where we can get multi-games in one night. So that's why we don't have a lot of home games. This year just happens to be where we have 3 home conference games and 4 away conference games, and we have our home tournament to end the season. And then every 4 years we get this quad that we open with, so we won't have that for another 2 years. So it stinks that we don't get a lot of home games. That sure makes our home games really fun and exciting, and definitely a highlight of not just the season, but I think the whole school year for the girls. I think they have a lot of fun with our home games, and the Eddyville game will be our youth volleyball night. Where tomorrow and Thursday we have youth camp for 3rd through 8th graders, so they'll be invited to come and do some pregame stuff with the kids. And then our next home game later in September, can't think of the date off the top of my head, but we'll have a teacher appreciation night. So the girls will be inviting some teachers from that they've had in years past that they really want to see in the gym, supporting them. And then in October, our last Tuesday night home game will be our Dig for a Cure game and senior night. So we'll be celebrating both things. So that'll be a big night. I think the seniors are excited about wearing pink on their senior night. And we've got a lot of things to be excited about.
And you talked about, you mentioned you have 35 girls in the gym. Are you seeing a lot of depth? That's the word I was looking for. How's the depth?
Yes, we have a lot of depth and a lot of creative ways. So right now, starting out, I'm just putting 10 girls on the varsity roster. But, in those 10 girls, I have 3 or 4 that can play outside. I have 3 that can play middle. I have 3 that can play right side. I have 4 that can DS. So, I have 3 that can set. So I have within those 10 girls, I have a lot of kids that can do a lot of different things. So I've got a lot of different options for lineups. And then, with the JV kids, half of them are freshmen. So we're still learning a lot about them and what they can do. And, I'm really excited about tomorrow night's scrimmage so we can get them on the court and kind of see. And, we're still trying to kind of figure out what would be the best positions for each kid to, reach their potential. So, I think we have a lot of depth. We'll know more in the next week about where we want to put people.
And is Abby Kite just going to remain your libero for this year?
I think so. I mean, she's one of my kids that could be a pin outside hitter if we need it. But I think we've had some kids certainly step up, and I think we're going to be able to keep Abby in the libero position, which I think will make us, that's just better for us. It just will help control things in the back row, and our passing will just be, steady that way. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the kiddos that stepped up that can, play some pins for us, and it'll be good.
And so we're going to stay in touch throughout the season.
Good.
Obviously, go Panthers.
Yes.
But is there anything more you want the folks to know as we get ready to enter the regular season?
Yeah, I think just come out and see a game and watch the girls play. They've been working super hard. We take a lot of pride in that. We think that we're the hardest working team at Knoxville. I'm sure some other kids and coaches would argue with me on that one, but we certainly think we work the hardest. So we'd love to have some big fan support, and even for some road games, because we don't get home much. It'd be fun to see some people on the road cheering on the girls. But I think they're going to play a real fun style of volleyball. I think we're going to be really fun defensively, keeping balls alive, and we'll serve aggressive and go at people. So I think it'll be good stuff, and the kids are working hard. So I'd love to see some people come out and support.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time, Molly.
Thanks for coming.
And thank all of you.
Welcome back. I'm joined now by Shelby Miller, the new Twin Cedars volleyball coach. Welcome, Shelby.
Thank you.
So you're coming to Twin Cedars from Seymour.
Yes. Yep. I coached 2 years junior high volleyball there, and I taught preschool for the past 4 years there.
Is this your first time coaching varsity volleyball?
Yes. Yep.
Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Carroll, Iowa. I went to Carroll High School. So played volleyball there. Much bigger school than Twin Cedars or Seymour. But I really enjoyed it. And then I went to school at Simpson College. Played a little bit of volleyball there as well.
So what kind of accolades did you get at Simpson through volleyball?
I only played 1 year, so not a whole lot. It just
That's okay. But have you always had an interest in volleyball? Or...
Yes. I've always had an interest. In high school, I played varsity all 4 years, so I was always very competitive. I played setter, so that position is very important to me, and I'm take a special interest in setters. But yes, I've always loved to play that sport.
And so you teach fourth grade here as well over at the elementary?
Yes. So this is my first year teaching fourth grade as well. So I have a lot of new things going on, but I'm very excited. I think it will be a good change from preschool.
So what made you come to Twin Cedars? Did you just need a change? Or?
So my boyfriend and I moved to Melcher, Dallas in October, and I stayed at Seymour for the rest of the school year, but an hour drive I knew was not sustainable. So I knew I wanted to work at a smaller school. And then somebody had told me that Twin Cedars had a teaching position available. So kind of just looked into that, and I seen that they had varsity volleyball open as well. I've always wanted to coach varsity. So I just took the chance, and it worked out.
Nice. So have you had a chance to meet any of your players yet?
Yes, we've had some open gyms so far and weightlifting sessions, and I haven't met a whole lot, but we did do a camp also, so I got to meet a lot of like the 7th and 8th grade girls, so that was really fun. They're a great age to work with, but we have open gym again this week, and then next week we start practice, so I should know everybody by then.
And so, as a Seymour teacher, did you get a chance to watch much of the Bluegrass Conference volleyball last season?
So coaching junior high, we kind of had games the same time as varsity. Either we would be home or away, depending on what they were. And I did get to line judge some games though, so that's always pretty exciting. I know it was very intense, like during like the Moravia game, because Seymour and Moravia are big opponents. But yeah, I really wasn't paying attention though to like the players and stuff. I was more just focused on making sure whether the ball was in or out. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't really get to pay attention to the other teams too much. But yeah.
So what do you think about the players you've seen so far? Or have you had a chance to practice at the net very much?
Yes. So through the open gyms, I have seen a few players at the high school level that are just very determined, and any corrections I give them, they try to do their best to make them, which is really great to see. It seems like they have a good connection between each other already. So I think it's good to have that bond, with your teammates. So I'm excited that, I think that's kind of already there for the most part. But no, I've seen a lot of good things, a lot of scrappiness, a lot of effort. So I think once I get to see all the girls working together, it will be really good.
And so, have you spotted anybody that are real team leaders so far? Or?
I've only met like a couple of the seniors, the older girls, but I've worked with a lot of the freshmen too, and it seems like they're all pretty comfortable on the court. But I can't say for sure, who's gonna step up as a leader yet.
So what do you enjoy most about coaching?
Oh goodness, that's a great question. I think what I enjoy most about coaching is I still remember myself as a former athlete, and so when I'm coaching these girls, I always think about how I wanted to be coached, how I want to be corrected, how I wanted to be encouraged, and all those things. So I just kind of want to think about my younger self and what I always wanted from a coach. My dad has coached for as long as I can remember. He always helped with our club sports, and even now he's helping with a varsity volleyball back in Carroll. So I don't know, I think coaching's kind of in my blood a little bit, but I've had just some really good examples to look up to, and I guess I just want to be a strong person for these girls to look up to. It's kind of like similar to being a teacher, you want to make a good imprint on their lives and, be the leader that you want them to be someday.
Right, build strong student athletes and good people of good character.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not just about, wins or loses. It's about being a good person, being a good sport. And really importantly for me is in volleyball, you're never going to play on a team where everybody's at the same level. So, whether you may be better at some things than other people or not as good, like, you're going to have to learn how to work together. And either offer encouragement and support, or you look up to others and try to learn from them. So it's kind of just like life, when you get older, you're going to be on a team of all different people. So you really have to find some way to work together.
Adapt and build so that you can all succeed, right?
Absolutely.
Is there anything else? I mean, we'll be talking with Shelby throughout the year, but is there anything more you'd like to add about the preseason?
I don't know. I wish I knew more of the girls at this point so I could give you some more information, but I'm just really excited to get started with their practices and, show everybody how hard we'll be working these first few games that we have. So I'm just excited to get started. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all looking forward to the volleyball season and the great competition that always brings. So.
Awesome.
Welcome back. Now we're joined by Pleasantville head football coach Mac Jorth. Welcome, Mac.
Thanks for having me.
Alrighty. So you guys had a good season last year, but you lost a very key player in Caleb Cook and a couple others. But obviously you have a big weapon in Braylon Bingham.
Sure.
But what are you thinking so far with how the practices have gone?
Well, yeah, like you mentioned, we lost a big senior class, and that's always difficult. It's kind of the problem every year, no matter whether it's a small class or big class. You hate to see the seniors go. You've been with them for so long, and it's tough to say goodbye, but eventually you got to turn the page. And when you lose 15 of them, it's especially impactful. And there's a lot of good athletes in there in addition to Caleb. So we'll miss those guys for sure, but as every team is at this point in time in the season, we're very, very excited about the guys we got coming up. You mentioned Braylon Bingham, but you can't be anything but excited for a guy like that. But we got a lot of other guys we're very excited about as well, and guys have been practicing really well, and we're very excited about what they've done so far, and they've really been working hard together and having great attitude out there at the practice field. So we're looking forward to it.
And I know that high school sports, every year is basically a rebuilding year because you lose a lot of key players. And everybody else is facing that challenge.
Sure.
Did Pleasantville lose more seniors than other teams in your district? Or?
Oh, I don't compare exactly how many. We had a larger senior class for us than we've had in the past. And a lot of the schools that we play are similar in size to us. Usually at this level, 10 to 15 is a pretty good sized senior class. And we had 15 real good ones. So it was one of the larger senior classes we lost, and how it compares to others, I'm not really sure, but I'm sure it was pretty comparable.
So how are we looking on offense this year? You think you're going to focus more on run or pass? Or
you never know. We'd always like to do whatever it takes to score touchdowns, right? And so we're really trying to get both sides of the ball ready to roll, or both parts of the offense ready to roll. And with a weapon like Braylon Bingham, you're always ready to throw the ball as many times as you need to win a football game. But we want to make sure that a defense can't just sit there and dial up a lot of blitzes and play crazy coverages, because they know we're going to run the ball right down their throat if they do. So we're trying to really develop both sides of that. And I think with a pretty new offensive line, we got two guys coming back with a good amount of experience in Stanton Major and Juan Avita, but we're really excited about the new guys that are coming up through the ranks. And Tyler Bethke's now our offensive line coach, and he's really done a nice job whipping those guys into shape so far this summer. So we'll see what happens, but we're really looking forward to the various number of weapons we might be able to throw out there on a Friday night in different ways to get the ball to a lot of different guys.
And your receiver core, imagine Logan Roth is still going to be out there for you. And
yes, absolutely. He's going to be a real stalwart for us out there. He's looked fantastic. He's really worked hard this offseason, and you can tell the difference in him. And he's really running around looking like a stud out there. And Braden Kennedy got a little bit of time at tight end before he got hurt last year, and he's really a good athlete too. And he's doing a good job at tight end. And we have another tight end in Blake Rouson who's coming up through the JV ranks, who's ready to play some football this year that we're excited about. And Zach Mesker and Ethan King are two receivers that have done a nice job this summer, really worked hard as well, and we've been impressed with their off-season investment. Now we get a chance to see what's going to happen from that.
And as far as our running backs, is there anybody that's standing out right now for you?
We got three real good ones that have been rotating around really well. Like you said, Caleb Cook's a big hole. J.J. Phillips is a sophomore. Has had a real good baseball career already for himself. He's a fantastic athlete, and we're very excited to see him in the backfield. Owen Rule got a lot of good time last year, and he's back for more, and he's looking really, really good. And then Zane Molnix is another sophomore who's going to add to that depth really well. So we got three guys we're very excited about, and we'll see how that kind of plays itself out as well.
And that's a pretty good sophomore class overall. You kind of touched on it. So.
Yeah, very, very good sophomore class. But we got a lot of good juniors too, and we're excited to see how they meld together with our seniors.
And so as far as like on the other side of the ball, getting turnovers, because I know you had some troubles with that last year, making things happen, on the defensive side of the ball. What kinds of prospects do we have for that?
So we got a lot of good guys coming back there too. A lot of the same names, Logan Roth and Braylon Bingham are going to be real good in the secondary for us. Logan had a real good year last year with a lot of interceptions, and Braylon just did a fantastic job as a freshman playing that free safety position for us. JJ is another guy that'll step in there in the secondary. Zach Mesker will be another guy that steps in and gets some good time back there, so we're excited to see that. Ethan King is a guy that's just come out and join us, and he's going to add us some depth there too. So we're excited about that secondary. Linebacker core is an area we're very excited about as well. Those same guys again with Owen Rule and Braden Kennedy, Rowson, and Zane Molnix. They're going to be 4 real good linebackers in there for us, and we'll see what other kind of depth we can provide and see what happens. So the D-line really working hard to see who gets that rotation, but Juan's been a guy that's played a lot of good defensive line for us, and we'll just see who else adds to that mix. But we'll see how those guys come together. As I've said 700 times already in this interview, we're very excited about it, so we'll see what happens.
It's how many home games we got this year?
4. With the new format in 1A, you have 8 regular season games, so you should be 4-4 every year unless some extreme ridiculous situation occurs. But then we're hoping to get maybe that 5th home game with a home playoff game, number 9. So we'll see what happens.
And you still got the tough district, with Pella Christian and
Sigourney.
Yep. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. They're the 2 definite mountains to climb, and we're looking forward to the challenge, and hopefully we can get up there with those big boys here soon.
Well, either way, I know that the Trojans are going to be competitive and tough and give it their all every week.
Darn right.
Absolutely. Is there anything more you want to add about, the preseason or prospects or the things that you want us to know, to be as fans to be ready for?
Well, I just think right away, August 30th, we got a home game against I-35, and that's our youth appreciation night. So I always try to get the word out that all our youth football players coming out will recognize you and have a good time playing I-35 right away. So we just appreciate the support. It's a fun time out there. Come out and support the Trojans.
So far we've had 2 days of camp last week. This is our second practice. One thing that's been really nice, we have a lot of numbers out, even more from last year, which is a good and a bad problem to have as far as equipment stuff, but we're getting that sorted out, and we're going to be good to go there. One thing I like, we've got a lot of new faces this year. We were pretty heavy with our senior class the last couple of years, but these guys that are coming up through, they have a lot of energy, and they kind of know what we expect and what our standards are, and they're doing a nice job of carrying on what those seniors kind of left when they took off last year.
I know you lost some good senior talent, but are you seeing plenty of guys stepping up?
Oh yeah, yep. Especially just as far as leadership-wise, I feel like we're starting to get some of our seniors this year. They're starting to step up and be vocal. And then even as far as stepping into some of those spots those seniors played last year, just doing a nice job of, like I said, kind of picking up where they left off and helping us continue this going in the right direction.
So, how about your juniors and your seniors this year? Are they showing the kind of leadership that you want them to show?
Yeah, yep. And that was one thing that we weren't sure of heading into the season, because like I said, we really relied on that senior class from last year, the last 3 years when they were playing on varsity. But yeah, I've been pretty impressed, especially here yesterday, and then just when we started practice, some of our conditioning circuits. Those guys have been doing a nice job of stepping up and really taking over that leadership role and encouraging those freshmen and showing them how we do things.
How the practice is going here on the turf?
It's been going well. We've been practicing here for 3 or 4 years now, however long it's been since they got the turf in. So it's nothing really new for us necessarily. I guess the biggest thing that's new is just all the other stuff that's around the field that hasn't been here before. But yeah, practice has been going well here. Just kind of sorting out kind of where our stuff's being stored and everything with our new storage and concession stands and everything. But yeah, everything's been going well.
And as far as like the new bleachers and stuff, I think we're going to be able to fill those bleachers pretty well this season. What do you think? You think that's enough?
I hope so. I know I'd heard that supposedly there's supposed to be more seating here now than what we've had the previous years. In this town, they do a great job of supporting our team and supporting all of our athletic programs. So I'm hopeful, and that's our plan, that we're going to be able to fill these seats every single Friday night that we have a home game.
And have you narrowed down QB1 yet?
I think so. Brendan Woolsey, he's right now he's kind of looking like he's going to be our guy. he was behind Noah Kiefer for a couple years, so he got some playing time his sophomore and junior year, and he got a couple starts in there as well. So it's not like we have a completely new quarterback that's never had any experience. So that's one thing that we're really excited about. And Woolsey's done a really nice job this offseason, just working hard, getting into the weight room, getting into our camp stuff. He came out here on some Saturdays with Higginbotham and some other guys, and they ran some routes and did some of their own stuff. So it's nice to see them taking that initiative to try and do whatever they can to get some extra reps and help themselves and help this team.
Do you have any other key captains or leaders that you want to shout out?
I mean, we've got a ton of receivers coming back. That's one thing that we're excited about. If you go back and look at our stats from last year, we had Kobe Higginbotham. He was towards the top of our district. Teams really started to kind of key on him as we got into our district play, which we assumed that would happen. And he did a great job even when he was getting that extra attention. But then that opened it up for guys like Max Magana, Cason Wilder, Connor Willoughby, Rylan Robinson. I mean, we've just got a handful of guys to try and figure out where they're going to sort out in those different receiver or potential running back positions, which is a good problem to have. We just need to get through a few more practices and get to wearing our pads and kind of see where guys fit in at.
And I know last season you had a lot of close ones last year. Have you been able to work on that, or how do you think the guys can address that this season?
We've talked about that a ton. We lost 4 games by a total of 8 points within the last 52 seconds of those games. One of them was in overtime. So it's something that we haven't forgotten about, and it's something that we didn't get it done last year, but we obviously see that we can, and we were right there in those games, and we could have been looking at 6-3 instead of 7-2, and that's one thing with football. It's cliche, but it's a game of inches, and we can't have mistakes. We can't have little lapses here and there, and that's just something that we've been talking a lot about. Just attention to detail, focusing on those little things, and making sure we can do those right before we worry about anything else past that.
And you mentioned you have a strong receiver core this year. How's our ground game looking so far?
Right now, we are kind of running back by committee. I feel like there's a handful of guys back there. It's just, once again, we need to get some pads on and see what they can do once we start doing some hitting.
Speaking of hitting, we have some good pass rushers this year.
Yeah, we lost 2 really good linebackers last year with Cale Kincaid and Tice Hauk. They were towards the top of our district the last 2 years. So that's a big spot to fill. But we've got some guys that we think can step up and fill those spots. As far as our D-line, we've got Ruger Kendall coming back. He really started to come on pretty hot middle of the season, then had a knee injury. We also have David Gorski coming back. He ended up being a second-team All-District D lineman for us after kind of sorting out where he was going to be playing those first couple games. So we're excited to have both of those guys back as well.
Anything more at this point, as far as we should be thinking about as we go into the season?
As far as players,
and I know you're in a tough district,
Yeah, yep. Player-wise, I mean, really, I'm excited to see our QB play and our receiver play, and that's going to kind of dictate or change a little bit kind of how we call our plays or our offense. But as far as teams coming back, we're not really sure on some of them either. They've lost some guys just like we have. We know that Nevada, he's going to be the top linebacker in the state. He'll be back, which will be tough, making sure we know where he's at every single time on defense. Harlan is Harlan. They lost some guys. They've lost some guys the last 2 years, but it's not hard for them to reload just with their tradition and how they do stuff over there. Creston, we think, is going to be pretty decent. They lost a really good senior class, but they've really got that program kind of turned around and going in the right direction, I feel like, from everything that we see and talking with their staff. And then Atlantic, they're always going to be tough too. Coach Brummer does a nice job there, and they've kind of been right on that cusp. And they actually have, I think, just off the top of my head, I feel like they have probably the most guys returning from last season. So I know they have a really good running back. Their quarterback played some as a sophomore, so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, I feel like it's a little more wide open maybe than previous years, just because of guys that have graduated.
And I know last season, the last few seasons, the Panther Walk has always been a neat part of home games. Is that feasible here? And how's that going to be this year?
Yep. So we still wanted to keep the Panther Walk. That's one thing that we talked about. Players have talked about too. Once we figured out that we were going to be playing here. So yeah, we'll still do that. We'll go down Park Lane and then we'll come up Panther Drive. So it'll be a little shorter. But yeah, so we're still going to have that, and we hope that everybody comes out on Friday nights for our home games and lines Panther Drive and Park Lane, so we can get all amped up and ready to go for our game.
Did you guys have the uniforms this year?
We won't have any new uniforms this year. We got our new away uniforms last year, and we try to go about 3 to 4 years on those. So no new uniforms this year. That'll be something probably next year for our home uniforms, I think. We're just excited to get this season rolling, and we hope that on August 30th, for our first home game against Boone, everybody shows up and comes out, and we get a W here in this new stadium for our first game.
And we're back with Amy McGraw, the head coach of Pleasantville Varsity Volleyball. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you.
So this is your first year as the head volleyball coach?
Yes.
How long have you been involved with volleyball?
Oh gosh. I mean, since I started playing in junior high school, and then I played in college, I played on a club team, and then after college I coached club for a few years. Kind of got out of the coaching realm when my kids were really little. I have 3 kids, and so that took up most of my time for a while, still does. But then when I moved to Pleasantville, I got involved, and I was the assistant coach for a few years before taking a little hiatus, and now I'm back. So,
what do you think about the team so far this year? From what you've seen from practice?
Oh, they're a great group of girls. I think I'm very fortunate to have 6 seniors this year, so that's awesome that we have such a big group for the size of a school that Pleasantville is. The girls are working hard. We lost a couple big hitters last year that we're trying to fill their roles, and we have a lot of girls vying for those spots. So they're working really hard for me, and overall it's been pretty positive so far.
Do you kind of have your starting rotation set? Or?
Well, that's been kind of a funny topic in practices, and we did Johnston team camp. We have been through probably 20 different lineup changes. So we are just trying to figure out people's strengths and how we can put the best team on the floor together to be successful this year. So I think maybe today we had an early morning practice this morning, and I think maybe we might have gotten really close to a final lineup. So.
And I'm sure the girls have put in the work over the summer as well with you. Have you liked what you've seen so far from as far as the effort?
Absolutely. We started doing open gyms early in the summer, June 1st, basically, and have just had great numbers. I have 30 girls out, and we would have 30 girls at open gym. We had junior high and high school girls there, so just had really good numbers throughout the summer, which for, again, a school the size of Pleasantville, we love that our athletes are multi-sport athletes, and then they're involved in the fair, they're involved in everything. So for them to take the time to get in here this summer and work hard and work out with us was pretty impressive. So I was happy with that.
And so can you kind of refresh some of your key returners this year that you have on the court?
Sure. So Lily Mason set for us last year, and she'll be doing some setting again this year. She is a junior. Faith Nelson, London Foley, Hope DeMann, Ava Green, and Manadia are all seniors. I hope I didn't forget anybody. I'm off the top of my head. Emily Rowe, I'm sorry, of course I forgot Emily.
Yeah,
Emily Rowe was a standout libero for us last year. Her and London Foley, honestly, I'm going to look to them a lot to lead this team with their defensive effort. Like I said, we lost a couple of heavy hitters up front, but they are phenomenal defensive players. So if I could have 2 liberos in the game, I 100% would. It's been very hard to choose that role between the 2 of them, but Emily's a very vocal leader on the floor, and she's kind of earned that role as of now, but we rely a lot on London Foley too. So looking forward to those girls just stepping up and being leaders their senior season.
And so I know that the West Central Athletic Conference is pretty tough in most sports. Are they pretty tough in volleyball? And obviously you want to win the conference this year, but who do you think will be the stiffest competition for you guys in the conference?
Oh gosh, I mean, Van Meter is always a team to beat. Des Moines Christian is always a team to beat. I think from the sounds of it, I didn't go to the conference tournament last year, but we had a pretty good season last year, but didn't perform very well at conference. So I think that was a little bit disappointing to the girls, and so I think they're kind of hungry to do better at the conference tournament. So I made the girls all fill out goal sheets, and I saw a lot of their goals to beat DMC. So I think that would be the team for them to beat.
I was gonna say, I think that's all our goal, to beat the Christian. Yeah,
that'll be fun.
And obviously, volleyball is played indoors. How much does it help to have like a full crowd? You know, I'm sure we're going to have plenty of Trojan fans in every game, but what does that mean to volleyball?
Well, we're hoping to increase our fan base and just kind of fill the gym throughout the season. We have a couple things in the works to kind of get people in the doors and encourage people to come. Unfortunately, our season does not have a lot of home games this year, so it's a real bummer, especially for our seniors. But we're doing our best working with our new AD, Tara, and she got a couple more home opportunities for us. We threw a triangular on a Saturday here at home, so we'll be hosting Panorama and South Hardin, who we ran into at Johnston Team Camp, and they are a team that has a really strong volleyball history. So we're excited to have them come down here and just get some tougher competition on our schedule.
So how many home meets do we have? And do you have to remember the date for the first one?
Well, I might not be exactly right, but we did not have any home games in September. Our first home game is in October. We have 2 home games on the schedule and a home tournament. So unfortunately for the girls, it's just those 2 home games, a tournament, and now we have a triangular. They're all in October. So fans might have to be a little bit patient, but we will be looking to fill the gym on those dates because we have so few home games. So hopefully we'll get a big crowd.
Sure thing. Is there anything else you want to add, you know, for like our preseason discussion? I mean, we'll be in touch throughout the season, even when you're away most of September, but anything more you want to add at this point?
I just want to add that we're all super excited. I have a great group of coaches under me, and we're all just kind of jiving, and their information and their specialty is just super important to our success as a program. So I just want to mention them because they put in a lot of work, and we have 2 assistants and then a volunteer assistant on top of that. So these girls are in good hands. They have a coaching staff with a ton of volleyball knowledge, and so we are looking forward to just helping this program grow.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time, Amy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Welcome back, everyone, to the Express TV Fall Sports Preview. I'm joined now by Pella Christian football head coach Rich Kakbrinsky. Welcome, Rich.
Thanks for having me on our show.
Absolutely. So you guys are coming back big time this year, I'll bet, right?
I think so. Got a nice roster. We actually have the biggest roster in school history, 66 kids, which is really great. A lot of returners. Of course, we did lose some great players from last year that we can talk about, but got some holes to fill. But I think we got some young men up and coming that hopefully can step into those shoes.
And the program just seems to keep growing every year, and that's just great to see. But who are some of those guys that you look to step up this year?
Well, our senior class is really leading well. We have Josiah Vink, who was a returning starter for us last year on the offensive line. And we also have Connor Van Zee, who's also another returning starter on the offensive line. As far as the backfield is concerned, we have both Cooper Spronk and Johnson Morgan back, who were a nice 1-2 punch for us last year in the backfield. So those are, and then we also have Camden Parker and Landon Fransman back on the edge as 2 of our receivers, and also in the defensive backfield. So we got some nice returners in the senior class, and I think they've been leading very well, and I think they'll do a very good job for us this year.
Yeah, you mentioned the lineman. The line doesn't ever really get enough love.
That's correct. That's correct.
So, but how's your line size-wise? Are you guys pretty big to get through the protection?
I think we'll be adequate. We're definitely not huge. I don't think we've ever been huge here at Pella Christian, but we have a junior by the name of Gage Denner, who has really come on for us. He's looking very good. And we also have a senior by the name of Daniel Gilworth. Those could bring us some size. I already mentioned Connor Van Zee. We have a young man who played football as a freshman and now as a senior, his name is Grant Kelderman. He came out for football again this year, and he's a really nice athlete and a good-sized young man. We're looking at him at tight end. So that gives us some size on that sideline of scrimmage. One of our juniors is a junior by the name of Hunter Vanderlinden, and we're looking at him at center. And he's a nice-sized young man as well. Our quick side of our line, Garrett Wheelard and Toby Belzer, good-sized, strong young men. So I think probably not the biggest line we've ever had in Pella Christian history, but very agile, very quick, and I think will be a very nice job for us.
And of course, have you selected who's going to start your first game for you this year at quarterback?
Yes, another familiar name for Pella Christian fans, Ritzert, Peyton Ritzert's younger brother, Brecken Ritzert, who started for us last year in the defensive side of the ball, and now will continue to play on defense. But now we're looking at him as being our quarterback starter. He's been taking every rep for 3 weeks. Really looks good. He's a junior. He's kind of tall and rangy. He's probably 6'2", and he's actually one of our stronger kids. So he's worked really hard in the weight room, and he also runs really well. Ran on our track team the last 2 years in the spring, so he's got some nice speed. So I think he'll step in very nicely into the role that Caleb Van Arendonk had last year at quarterback and lead our offense.
And so, if it's not broken, don't fix it. You guys had a tremendous season last year, but are we going to see many changes in your play calling this year?
That's a great question. We did have a great year last year. I thought, after the smoke all settled and Grundy Center had won the 1A state title, I think we were kind of proud of the fact that we gave them the toughest game or the closest game in the playoff run. And so you step back from that and say, how far are we from playing in the Dome again? How far are we from potentially playing for a state championship? And part of me likes to think, well, maybe not that far away. So that's kind of the message we've been sending to our team. If we just keep working, keep getting better, I think that we could be very, very good. As far as our run-pass mix, that's a great question. Brecken sure does have a strong arm, and we do have some very nice receivers coming back. So I think we'll probably throw a little bit more this year than we did last year. But I also want to keep our strong running game going with Cooper and Johnson back. So I think hopefully we can have a nice 1-2 punch, yin and yang. We can have some strong running game and an effective passing game, which I guess I've always believed is probably the toughest offense to stop in football, regardless of level, all the way from junior high to NFL. If you can run it and throw it, I think you got a chance. So we've been working hard at that, and hopefully we'll have a nice balanced team.
And you mentioned the guys have been putting in the work, so I'm guessing you had a pretty good summer. The guys are bulking up and they're ready to come out on Friday night.
We did have a good summer. I think the majority of our guys showed up to camp in shape, and we've been obviously getting stronger is a 4-year process. So we're definitely in process with a lot of our guys, and so we'll continue to keep doing that. But again, I think. We have size in the spots we need size in, and we have speed. There's actually a senior that I haven't mentioned, and his name is Theo Hugan. And Theo actually came out for the first time for us last year as a junior, and was just kind of getting his feet wet, but he can really run. He plays on our soccer team in the spring, and he's very dynamic. So looking to get him on the field as well. As far as that's concerned, he brings a lot of speed to the table. So I think, we haven't always had speed and size at the same time at Pella Christian, but I think hopefully this year we can put those two things together.
And as far as your defensive backfield, I mean, you guys I forget how many interceptions you had last year, but you were very good in the secondary. Is that going to continue?
I think so. In fact, I think that'll be our strength. Defensively will be our back end, our linebackers. We have most of our linebackers back. We have Cooper Sprong and Garrett Wheeler both started for us at the inside backer. We have Johnson Morgan back, who played for us at the outside backer. We have Camden Parker and Landon Frannisman back. Caleb Volk played some corner for us last year. I need to also talk about Caleb Volk offensively because he's looked really good for us at slot receiver. So our defensive backfield definitely I think will be our strength. We got to replace, obviously we lost Trevor Veenstra up front, and he was a big loss. So we got some rebuilding, some retooling to do on the D-line. But again, some of the names I mentioned offensively also will be playing on the defensive line. Connor Van Zee, Gage Denner. We have a junior who's really looked good. Devin Runners also looked good. Grant Kellerman, our new senior, has also looked very good. So hopefully we can kind of plug in some guys in that D line and have a really good defensive front again.
And I know the entire district is going to be looking out for Pella Christian because you guys have been great every year of football existence. But is there anybody you're looking out for? Or I know you're going to take each game week by week, but is there anybody especially you're looking out for?
Well, we have a very tough non-district schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We open up with DMC.
Oh, yeah.
And they're actually 3A, probably going to 4A. They're much improved. And then we have our historic Marion County battle with PCM, week 2, which that's just been a great game. You know, we have a lot of respect for PCM. They got a great program, and let's be honest, they got everybody back off a 2A quarterfinalist team last year, so they're going to be barking up the tree for a 2A state title this year. So we have that game on set number 2, and then we have Grundy Center back here, game 3, the returning A champs and the returning 1A state champs. So our non-district schedule, I feel like, is kind of murderer's row, quite honestly. As far as the district is concerned, I think Sigourney obviously has won the last 2 years. You know, we got to be ready for them. Pleasantville is much improved. Their quarterback has really looked good. He'll be a sophomore this year, so he'll be much improved. So Pleasantville's on the rise, in my opinion. Then we got Eddyville, Cardinal, and Colfax Mingo. So I think, I think our non-district schedule should prepare us well for our district schedule.
And speaking of that non-district schedule, do you guys open here or on the road?
We're actually open at home on August 30th with DMC, Des Moines Christian.
That should be an excellent game.
It has been. It's been a really good game. Every year we've played it. And we look at them as kind of a sister school, and it's been very competitive, and we expect the same this year.
Okay. So are there any special nights or any other special occasions that we should keep an eye out for, for this preseason episode?
Well, we're actually going to have a free Christian concert following the Des Moines Christian Pella Christian game on August 30th right here at our stadium. So that'll be fun. Folks want to come out and watch some good football, have a free concert after the game. That should be fun. Then we also have Grundy Center back here week 3, which again, they're returning 1A state champs. That should be a great game. And then we have Sigourney here week 5, which again should be a knockdown drag out. So I think we got 3 or 4 really key games. Fortunately, most of them at home. We do have to go to PCM, but it's only 15 miles away. So that should be a great game as well. But those are a couple of 3 games at home that should be really good.
Is there anything else you want to add? I mean, obviously we're going to stay in touch throughout the season cheering on the Eagles, but is there anything more you want to add at this point?
I just like to talk about our kicking game for a second.
Absolutely.
We have Camden Parker back, who is a tremendous kicker. He's worked very hard on his game. I think he could be as good in 1A as there is as far as the kicking game is concerned. So I really want to highlight him, and as well as some of our returners. I think Johnson Morgan and Theo Hugan, Cooper Spronk could be as good at returners as there is in 1A. So I think our return game should be good. We did lose Trevor Veenstra in the punting game, so we are breaking in a new punter. So that will be a growth project for us probably all year. But I think our kicking game will be solid. So if we can get all 3 of these different parts of our team to come together, offense, defense, and kicks, I think we could have a real nice team again.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for your time.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you for joining us.
Yeah, some really good underclassmen that have been in the program that are now ready to show their mettle, and there's plenty of new faces coming in that are pretty promising as well. So it is exciting to be a part of the program. So when you start from just a handful of kids at 13 the year before I started to this year, we should be somewhere around 45 kids.
That's awesome.
So probably 15, 16 girls and about 30 boys. So, yeah, it's gonna come together, I think, for a good season, great season.
And you have the girls that had all the success at track, or they out for cross country?
Yep, so there's 3 girls that run a big part of the state track team. Rachel on the 100 and Meredith on the 200 and Bailey Boss on the 400. So Bailey finished as our #1 runner last year, so she's back. And then her younger sister, Chloe Voss, is a freshman this fall. So she's out as well. I expect some big things out of the 2 Voss sisters. But yeah, Chloe's got a heart of gold as well. She just knows how to invest in relationships and building up teammates. So that makes it even funner to be a part of coaching her and watching her success as well. So yeah, Meredith is going to be a manager for us. We've tried to convince her to do a little bit of running, but she'll do some workouts with us. But at this point, she's not planning on competing in the 5Ks. She did when she was a freshman. She was our number 5 runner on the state team her freshman year. So who knows? Maybe she'll have a change of heart and want to be out there running the courses too. But right now, she's a manager for us.
Going in, do you have an idea of who your top 7 might be for the boys and girls?
Yeah, so on the boys' side, we've got Deacon Branderhorst as a senior and Sawyer Minders as a junior. Those are our top 2 boys returners. And then I need to remind myself a little bit of who's all in the depth of it, but we've got a pretty good group of boys that were right there with them. Patton, several of them are sophomores this season, so Paxton Boma, Hudson Meixner, Will Vanden Bosch, Griffin Stoltz, and a couple upperclassmen. We got Eli Hawksbergens, another senior that had a really good year last year, breaking 18 minutes. And then Logan Gallagher will be a junior on the team. So yeah, we've got some really good depth on the boys' side. The girls' side, we were right there last year. We didn't get to state, but we've got several girls that had a good cross country or track season that are back out this year. You can just tell they're a little bit stronger and they put on some better miles this summer. And so in addition to Bailey, we've got Julia Schmaltz and Greta Voss are juniors on the team, and as well as Nora Lamb. Those 3 as juniors. Maisie Minders is a junior. So all 4 of them should be big contributors. Then I mentioned Chloe Voss. But there's a couple of freshmen that are pretty good with Kyla Skivow and Haley Renz. And there's some other new faces. There's just, some kids that moved to town that are part of the team. So it's going to be probably one of the most talented girls teams I've seen that we've had as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes together. Once we get into the season, we get a few races under our belt, we'll know kind of where everybody's at.
But you just had the first practice today, so they might not be able to tell a lot. But was encouraging. I think that the first practice was encouraging.
Yeah. This isn't a mandatory workout week. The first couple of years I did cross country, we did a camp week, and I was just happy a couple kids showed up. And just culturally, the program wasn't in a place where kids really wanted to come back early to school and go run for 3 weeks before the season started. But even last year, we maybe had about half the kids show up preseason during camp week before we got into our official start date and 2-a-days. But this morning we had 34 kids present, so probably had 80% of the kids were there, and everybody else is communicating what they're doing and why they're not there with wrapping up vacations from the summer or some work responsibilities. And so yeah, it's a little easier to get a read of your team when you actually see them. You know they're going to be part of the team for certain. but yeah, there's just some really good depth there and some really good athletes. So it's easy to get excited. I still remember the first year I coached, we had 4 girls on the team. So we'd go out on runs and you'd spend a little bit of mindful energy thinking about, boy, it would be nice to have a 5th so we could score team-wise. And by the end of the season, we had a couple volleyball girls that joined us to get a team score. So to get past that, and even on our boys' side, we had great kids, and they all made awesome improvements. But it was hard to compete. Some of the top-tier teams just didn't have a lot of depth. So now we have some great numbers. We also have some really good depth at the top of our rotation. So there's usually girls and boys both that are vying for those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spots on the team. So they're good pushers for each other, without it always coming from the coaches trying to encourage that next level of improvement. So yeah, so kids bring their friends out, and sometimes they bring out some talented ones with them. So it's definitely a treat to watch it all come together.
Yeah, I've seen that in meets where your students are there cheering each other on. Like once they've wrapped up, they run right back to the finish line.
Yeah, it's a unique sport in that there's just, every individual's working hard, and it's I think it's easy to befriend kids from other schools, and I always enjoy kids talking about the kids from other schools that they run into from year to year, and I think they kind of look forward to competing against them when they get into those meets. But yeah, even within the team, our team does a nice job of hanging around the finish lines and doubling back and encouraging each other, and it's even more fun when it's easier to do, right? When you've got 20 or 30 friends doing the same thing, it's kind of fun to see how teammates respond to your voice at the same time. So yeah, it's a great sport for that.
Where do your competitions kick off this year? What's your first meet?
Yeah, so last year we had Marshalltown canceled because of heat. So we ended up going to Albia, and we were going to keep Albia on the schedule, but they canceled their meet this year for, I think some of their parks or some of their areas are getting redone. But we are going back to Marshalltown. So we start the season with 3 collegiate courses. We do Marshalltown, then we go to Gilbert, which is on the Iowa State course. Marshalltown's up on Marshalltown Community College's course. And then we come back here to Pella and run in the Central College, Pella Dutch Invitational on the Central College campus. So one meet that I'm super excited for this year that we're going to is we've added Ballard's Invitational up in Ballard or in Huxley. But it's by far the largest small to medium-sized cross-country meet in the state. So they split into small schools and medium-sized schools, and there's just a tremendous amount of competition that's at that meet too, and it's an opportunity for us. Just like when we go to Iowa State, we tend to run against some central Iowa or north central Iowa kind of teams, and we certainly see that when we go up to the Ballard Invitational. We'll see the same thing. So being as we're competing at a higher level team-wise, it's nice to have some crossover where you see some different teams that are also in those top-ranked spots, whether it's 1A, 2A, or 3A. It's just nice to be able to compare. And this year, kind of a side note, the Iowa Association of Track Coaches has a new tool where they're tracking and monitoring meets. There's a coach out of Nevada that put a software tool together that gathers together race meet information all into one database, and there's some scoring and ranking of particular meets based upon how the top runners do in those meets, and it's going to be used to help influence some of the rankings that goes on this year. And it's a tool that'll be a lot easier to appreciate who your competition is before you go into some of those meets. And yeah, I think it'll be, there's a lot of coaches that spend a lot of time trying to sort through races and meets and runners to try to figure out how they stack up and match up against other teams. So hopefully this takes away some of that manual work that a lot of coaches spend doing during the course of their seasons. But so yeah, it's exciting to have some new tools as well.
And of course, one of the goals of the season is to see growth and improvement in all your runners. Of course, you guys are already pretty strong. So how do you measure growth and improvement? Of it just times? Or?
Good question. We do some of the traditional things with just tracking, personal records year over year. But for me, I've always felt like one of the biggest testaments is just how many kids return to the program and how many new kids come out and how well are we growing the program and sustaining the program. At some point, I'm going to have to top out in terms of the number of kids that we can get out for the sport. But yeah, we have 1 out of every 5, 1 out of every 6 kids. So I think that's a pretty good testament to the program, growing and moving in the right direction. But we do watch times pretty closely to just kind of get some benchmark for not only how the present kids are doing inside the program, but just how we performed each year since we took the program over. Now this will be the 7th year, so just we're always trying to look for some benchmarks to appreciate where we can expect kids to improve to based on some of our training routines and improvements we see from freshman to senior year for each of the kids. But so yeah, I think it's a combination of just culturally how we're sustaining ourselves, but then also just athletically, how do we perform as well.
So just in general, is there anything else you want to add about the preseason or anything coming up? I mean, we'll talk more as the season goes on. But.
Yeah, maybe just talk a little bit about our theme for the season. This year's theme is Be Me, Be Us. Mm-hmm. So just trying to really allow the kids to realize that they're all unique and they're all, in God's eyes and in my eyes and our eyes as coaches, every individual is a gift from God and an opportunity to take a lot of God-given talents and do the best that they can do. Yet within that, that's the be me side of it. The be us is, we do feel like we have a lot of kids in the program that help create the culture that we want each of the new kids to experience. So we start that with our camp week, and then with 2-a-days the next couple of weeks, we do a lot of team building activities. This season during our 2-a-days, we're actually traveling to Lake Thunderhead on the Missouri border just for an overnight stay with the kids and doing some runs down there. And then we do some local things with the aquatic pool and some pools in the community just for some fun activities. But then also just getting out by the lake and doing some trail runs and using some of the parks around the community. And so the Be Us is just culturally, there's things that we do all the way through the course of the season to welcome the kids in, make sure they enjoy the sport and enjoy each other. And we don't just, we want to, certainly we've got a lot of hard workouts we need to do, and there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into things that we do, and we do a lot of injury prevention things with some of our strengthening stuff, but we don't want it to just be about the blood, sweat, and tears either. We want to have some fun and let the kids enjoy each other and make a good experience for them while they're in high school here at Pella Christian.
Have you traditionally done a trip like that?
Yeah, actually the last several years, Coach Alex Thomas used to be one of our assistant coaches, and he's got a cabin south of Knoxville and a couple maintenance B roads that were very hilly and at times very muddy. So we've traditionally gone there, but for family reasons that option wasn't available this year. So we we were looking to do something different, and this option came to us because of one of our seniors' family owns a cabin down at that location. So we decided to do a little bit longer drive, which gives a little more chance to have some team bonding while we travel to and from, as well as be there together for that activity. But yeah, we always try to do some off-campus kind of gatherings and before the season, during the season, after the season, to let the kids see each other in a different light and enjoy each other that way.
Is there anything else you care to add about the season, or as we get ready for some Eagle cross country?
No, we've got a young group, so it's got a lot of new freshmen coming in and some upperclassmen that are new, and so yeah, we had a pretty large group of seniors graduate last year, but we've got an even bigger group coming in, so we're excited for that as we, again, I think, going to see the size of our team grow. So yeah, excited for the season for sure.
Thanks for your time.
You bet.
Today I'm joined by varsity volleyball coach for Central College, Jeannie Zipri. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
So, what season are you in here at Central?
This is my 8th season here.
And you guys finished 22-10 last year.
Yes, sir.
But you're only pulled for the preseason poll, put you at 6th in the conference this year. I think that's kind of insulting. What's your take and what's your girls' take on it?
You know, I think we're excited to prove some people wrong. I think, we graduated 2 kids and we're returning a really hardy core of kids. And we're also adding some young kids, some new freshmen and some sophomores who have really kind of elevated their game. And our returners look better too. So I kind of was shocked to see that, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Get out there and prove them wrong.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And of course, you guys have your season home opener Friday night here.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're kind of expecting there.
Yeah, I think we always try to get, 2, 3, 4 wins, to start the season. If we can go 4-0 this weekend, it'll be great. Our last match on Saturday, our 2:00 match, will be probably our biggest challenge. We went to 5 sets last year up in Minnesota versus Moorhead. So we're actually really excited to kind of see them on home soil. Again, after 3 matches on the weekend, we'll see, who's grittier and who can kind of tough it out. But I'm anticipating that to be a really nice battle. But we love opening at home. Us and Grinnell co-host this tournament. And so we've got about 12, 13 teams between the 2 schools over the 2 days. I think it's just a great way to give a lot of different teams a lot of opportunities, find the right opponents for everybody, kind of based on what they're looking for. We travel a lot in September, and so if we can kind of keep our kids in their own beds for an extra week and kind of let them settle into the school year a little bit better, kind of find their groove as student athletes, and again, it's just a nice way to kind of open up the year with our fans here. So.
And obviously, how many opportunities are you going to have to catch the Dutch here at home this year?
Not enough. It's never enough. I'm working on trying to get more. And so we'll play a good slate in October. And then the first weekend of November, we'll be here as well, Friday, Saturday. Those are big matches against Wartburg and Co. We split last year with them. We are here. We open conference at home Friday night before homecoming, October 4th. So Luther is always a gritty, tough defensive program. And they're on the up and up too. So that'll be a nice battle. And then to be here, not competing on Saturday of homecoming, I think our girls are really excited about that.
Exactly. Go and cheer on the football team.
Yes.
I'm sure they'll be here cheering you guys on.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so.
So what else are you looking forward to this season? Do you have like a couple of key players that are going to really step up for you, think?
Yeah, I think our setting position is looking stronger than ever. We're returning, we call her Rexy, Avery Rexroth. She was an all-conference nod, and she ran a 5-1 with us last year, half the season on a broken wrist, ironically. So really tough kid, coach's kid, really very steady Eddie on the court, which we look to have. And then we've got another junior and sophomore who are kind of really showing a lot of really great growth, and we're excited to kind of see if we end up running the 6-2, what that looks like. We are returning the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference in Colleen Kenny. She missed her entire freshman year due to a season-ending injury early in September, and so for her to come out her first year as a sophomore and kind of earn that award is pretty impressive. And I think she's grown a lot in her leadership. I think she's grown a lot in her kind of self-growth, and obviously a great defensive player, great passer. But I think kind of the work that she put in over the summer on herself to kind of grow internally, I think will have a massive impact on her and the team. So those are two big ones. We've got a few other seniors. Gracie Pearson has been a 3-year starter for us on the outside, and she's playing as good as she ever has been. I'm really excited to see her kind of finally put it all together her senior year. Emma Wagler was a starter for us last year in the middle. She had 2 knee surgeries over the summer, and so she's kind of getting her foot speed back, but I think she's such a coachable kid, and I think she's put a lot of work into her IQ to kind of make up for a little bit of kind of getting back into it. And then we've got a few juniors and sophomores that are kind of filling some roles. We'll return Leslie Snow, who was our L2 last year, great in the back row, and really showing some good, smart decision-making as a hitter right now. And we've got 3 freshmen that I think will really push and possibly break into the starting lineup, or at least really get some good time this year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, good luck this season. We'll look forward to coming and catching you here in the gym or on Pella TV all season long. So thanks again, and good luck to your team.
Thank you. And yeah, come on out this weekend. Friday night, we're 6 and 8, and our tougher matches will be Saturday, 12 and 2. So come on out, and then for sure, October 4th, opening weekend for conference. We want to see you here dressed in red. Go Big Red, go Dutch.
Go Dutch. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now with Joe Dunham, the head cross-country coach for men and women at Central College. Welcome, Joe.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
So what's our outlook for cross country this year, both genders?
Yeah, we're coming off of just an incredible season last year with both our men and our women. We probably had 2 of the best seasons we've had in the history of our college. And so we did graduate a few, but we are loaded with depth. And so it's exciting on both sides. We've got some great leaders. We've got great captains. And, we're looking to build off of the momentum that we had last year.
And do you have any home meets this year?
Yeah, we do. We're opening up with our home meet on September 6th. That's a Friday evening, and we have a few local colleges that come, and it's kind of a nice little rust buster and to kick off the season.
Yeah. So how many do you have this year? Total running opportunities.
So we'll race 4 regular season meets. College we run a little bit less. And we train more, is kind of how college works. And then we'll have the conference championships, the NCAA regional championships, then the national championships. So it'll be a total of 7 meets.
And so what's the best way we can support the Central cross-country team?
Yeah, I think the biggest way is to come out to our home meet, but also follow along on our website at central.edu, then go to the athletics website. And our sports information department does such a great job. You can really get a lot of information from that website.
Okay. Are there anything else you want to add about the season, or anything else we should look forward to?
I think we're just. I'm really excited about our leadership. We've got great captains that are going to lead our program very well, and it should be a great season. It's going to be great.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe.
Just thank you for all the support that you've provided over the years, and we are really looking forward to all the support again this year, and a great year for Pella Dutch activities.
Absolutely. And thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Monty Godike, for producing our piece. I hope you enjoy it, and we look forward to seeing it at all the events this year.